maybe make an introduction of yourself first, and Thomas Capital. Hello, can you speak? Hello. Okay, Tony Priska. Hello. Can you make an introduction of yourself, a brief one? Okay.
Tony, you want to introduce?
Okay, and Chen Yang Li, can you make a brief introduction of yourself? Okay, nobody is speaking.
Chen Yang should set himself on mute. Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
I'm from Thomas Capital.
All right, man, you gotta like put headphones in or like not use your mic because there's like feedback coming from your system, man.
Oh, okay. I think that's it for you. Oh, okay. Let's jump to the content. Okay. Okay. First of all, general RChain updates. The first one, if you hold rocks, reminder that rock to rock swap will take place in December when the mainnet is launched. The developer website token swap page is the only place rock holders should trust for information. Beware of the finishing attempts as the swap date get closer. Okay, and the second one, October 24th will be the date of all members meeting in Seattle. There will be a voting on nominations for RChain Co-Operative board and wallet initiatives. Details for board members' nominations and process are being finalized. This year, all voting will be on chain on Ethereum. And RCon 3 is coming in Berlin, September 3 to 6 in Berlin. If you are planning on attending, please register soon to help assist conference planning. Does anybody has a question about the updates from RChain?
Hey guys, I just wanted to provide one update. If you go to the nominating committee channel on the Discord, you'll see the form that people who want to put themselves up for election for the board of directors need to fill out. So that's been posted by Ian and Jake Gilbert. So anyone, if you have any nominees, please have them fill out that form. I think the drop dead date is August 25th, after which the nominating committee will put everyone who is able to meet all those requirements will make the ballot. So, you know, the election will obviously be judged by the cooperative, but there's the form basically establishes minimum thresholds for what's required to serve in a position of that importance.
Okay, thank you.
Great, and just so you guys know, we used standard forms. Actually, we use slightly lower thresholds than you'd see in a typical company, just given, you know, we're more of a startup, but we erred on being as inclusive as possible. But those really are the minimum thresholds for a board position, given the company and its current state.
Okay.
Mrinal, I have a question. Is there a count of the number of nominations so far?
Yeah, I believe only one person has filled out the form. 3 or 4 people have expressed interest, so that would be, and we'll announce all the names as soon as we get them all, but some have been public, as you've seen, like David Curran is running for re-election. I think Jacob Basiri said he wants to be part of it. Meta also filled out the form. So we have a few people who are interested. We have other people who have expressed interest but haven't filled the form out yet, which shouldn't be surprising given the form just went out a few hours ago.
I'm sorry, I have a question. When is the deadline again? I'm sorry.
The 25th of August.
August. Okay. Thank you. And does anybody has other questions for Mirumo? Okay.
Rinal, I'm not sure if 100% of the people are familiar with the Discord channels. So, oh, you've got it there. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, and guys, if you wanna link to the form that you want to share, like especially if there's members of the Asia community that aren't on Discord, but that you think would be relevant members and should be considered for a board position, let me just paste the link to the doc. But that's what they need to fill out.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions for Miro? Okay, and yes, and if you are, I'm going on. If you are an RChain contributor to the Bounty program and your contribution was voted reward in July, please submit your invoice. Alan, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, the email is delayed. A lot of people have asked me about that, but you can submit your invoice using the declarations form.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the Bounty program? Okay, let's jump to the topics today. Okay. First, RChain Asia community building. Alan has started. Alan, I leave this to you. You can talk about this, Alan.
Okay, so we're considering adding an RChain unofficial worldwide community blog. This is work in progress, but I wanted to leak it, especially on this particular Asian time zone meeting. The purpose is to promote community. We're thinking of making dual language articles. So instead of necessarily translation, you can use Unicode. You can combine anything that you want. We want to promote creative contributions from members and from non-members also. The blog will be moderated. We are planning contests with prizes for awesome articles. Because it's unofficial, we will moderate incorrect and misleading information, but opinions and viewpoints are welcome. The structure of the blog will be filed as a bounty issue. If you're interested in participating on the team, when it's filed, you can just let your interest be known. If you're interested in writing about your excitement with RChain or your frustration, please write. We'll also want editors and people that can support authors in various ways. We're thinking that the first contest may be an article on how RChain changed my life. So if you want to write an article about how RChain changed your life, that would be great. We have a few contacts. You can contact Will, iCater, Aaron P, or me, and hope to hear from you. Any questions?
Any questions for Alan?
I would like to ask, this is Jonathan, I would like to ask the members of the Asian community that actually lives in the Asian realm, what sorts of topics might you particularly like to contribute to this effort? Enzo, Will, anybody?
I prefer the development articles. Technical.
You prefer what? I'm sorry.
Technical. Am I clear?
No.
I'm sorry.
Will, I think that you said that you would prefer to see a lot of technical articles, and the official blog has a very, very, very beautiful section of technical articles.
Okay.
And so I hope that we can emulate that, but maybe less in the official realm and more in, whatever people are thinking.
I'm sorry.
So, Alan, what I'm getting at is that this sort of how RChain changed my life, or this kind of more personal, emotional, touchy-feely kind of thing, I think is maybe something that our West Coast North American people, or maybe our European people, might be more interested in, better at than others. So I just wanted to.
That's why I'm here.
Who's that?
This is Ian. I've started a RChain Asia piece. I would love to share with you, and me and Will have collaborated on it, so I can share that with you, and then we can iterate from there in terms of what we would like to do with exactly what you're talking about right now.
Awesome. So this is Ian Quinn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So exactly the thing that you're talking about right now is using the English language finesse with the sort of feelings that are going into that for non-technical articles in terms of how it relates to RChain Asia. I would love to be a part of that.
Great. Thank you, Will. And Will, please touch base with me in Discord with the PM. I would love to talk with you.
Okay.
Okay, and Jonathan, before you stop, my understanding is that you're suggesting that people suggest topics. That's a wonderful idea, and I agree that people have different points of view around the world, and we hope to accommodate that.
Yes, exactly. One of my sincere interests in really fostering the RChain Asia community is that there are going to be different perspectives than those of you who live in Seattle might have about RChain. And I want to encourage every division and branch of RChain to develop its own sociocultural personality. And I'll shut up.
No, and as that pertains to the English language, I would love to hear about that from people that are bilingual, and then we can put that into better words like that. Like I hear exactly what you're saying.
Hey guys, could I just add one perspective to that I think is important? Just make sure, like, I know it's unofficial, but like just make sure that while we promote freedom of speech and all of that, we just make sure that no one does anything that endangers the project in terms of securities violations or anything like that. It's fairly important given we're a 513C in Washington, and that the token is registered as a utility, and all actions taken to date have been consistent with that. We just want to make sure we maintain that. So while I'm saying, of course, there should be complete freedom of content, we just have to make sure that we are compliant with.
Yeah, everything I do is underneath. Everything I do is underneath the process. Everything.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, as it grows, we just need to make sure that we have appropriate structures in place to make sure that's dealt with, because a violation of that sort is
for sure.
Yes,
hard to get around.
Mrinal, it's absolutely a moderated blog, and we can talk separately. If you want to, if you find the articles interesting, we could maybe get you or other people that are sensitive to those things to just stay in touch with it.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, it's not that I'm sensitive to it. I just don't want to. I just want to make sure that we're compliant. That's
so Rudolph, points taken, and I would like you to do a 1 minute dump of core things that we should avoid doing. Obviously, one is pumping the stock or pumping the asset. What else?
Yeah, so let's talk at a high level. One, absolutely nothing that pumps it, nothing that talks about pricing, nothing that talks about implications related to pricing. Two, no conversations related to internal or external sales other than information that is already to the public. The third thing that's also very important is please don't mention or name any regulatory authorities or imply any sort of endorsement or any sort of acquiescence from them. All these things are dangerous and should be extremely avoided. But other than that, as long as you're talking about the technology and how it makes you feel, that's fine. The moment you start talking about money and securities, it goes in a different territory. So, that's sort of the rule of thumb.
No, that is a good point, because yes, in the article that I wrote last week, with the editing, that will need to be taken into consideration.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I think so far everything I've seen has been highly compliant. I'm just saying we just need to make sure we have the appropriate structures to ensure that continues.
No, it's definitely taken into consideration.
Chen Yang, we look forward to your participation. Thanks.
Okay, thanks everybody. Any questions? Other questions?
Well, we lost you. Oh, it's only me.
No, I lost Will also.
Could somebody in the chat window share the URL for the document that is being... Wait, never mind, I can find it.
Will, we cannot hear you. Jonathan, maybe while Will's audio is out, you might go to the next thing, meeting and conference reports.
Sure. So, is that Will?
Yeah.
Hi, Will.
Is it okay? Hello, Jonathan. Is it okay now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
We can
hear
hear you
you.
now.
I'm sorry. My network is not stable. Okay. Go on.
So I was asked to give, I think this is out of order from the agenda, but I was asked to give an update of what's happening in my world here. Should I go ahead? Wait.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I gave a very successful presentation at the Chiang Mai Digital Nomad Coffee House. I really wanted to just talk for an hour about RChain, but they insisted that I give a presentation about my experiences in startups. When I walked into it, I thought I'd been through 6 startups. I realized as I was preparing my presentation that I've actually been through 8 different startups. So I gave a 1-hour presentation about what I've learned from being in 8 different startups. And then the last 10 minutes, I gave a speed presentation about RChain. There were approximately 35 people in attendance. And I'm glad to say that I had half an hour of questions from the audience afterwards, and then an hour of one-on-one conversations with about 15 people from the meetup. And I've been in correspondence with people whose email contacts I've gotten. And I think there's going to be some really good leads from Chiang Mai, which is kind of the world headquarters of digital nomads in the world. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from this episode. I will be going flying tomorrow to Singapore. And I think Mervyn is not with us. I'll be giving a presentation with Mervyn for the first Singapore RChain meetup. And there will be many, many miners from Southeast Asia that will be in attendance, and we'll be talking about RChain validation. Excuse me, there's an airplane coming here. I'm going to mute for a second.
Jonathan, while you're muted, let me ask a question. Were you able to use the resources that Aaron has been collecting for meetup materials?
I did not need them for the presentation on Friday, but I will be utilizing them for the presentation tomorrow. Tomorrow? No, Wednesday. And so after Wednesday in Singapore, then I'll be going to Indonesia. They are setting up the national blockchain hub for the entire nation of Indonesia, which you may not know has about nearly 1 billion people, like 800 million people. So there's a big initiative on the part of the Indonesian government to use blockchain for many national initiatives. And I will be meeting with an organization called, I think, HARA, H-A-R-A, which is doing incredible things. So look up HARA online. I will put that in the window after I'm finished talking. And then I'm going to Bali, let's see, I think Friday through Tuesday, to meet a bunch of former Bitcoin and Ethereum miners to try to transition them to becoming RChain validators, and also meeting a bunch of dev teams that are possibly good candidates for becoming educated in programming on RChain. So that's my quick update on, oh, and then August 28th, there's a big conference in Singapore that I and Mervyn and his team will be attending. Many, many, many luminaries from the blockchain world will be there. And then on the 29th, there is a confab that I've been invited to be present at. And there will be CEOs and CTOs of most of the major Singaporean blockchain companies on a panel. And I will be humbly sitting on that panel and contributing the RChain perspective. So that is my update.
Holy smokes, that all sounds great, Jonathan.
Especially Indonesia, it's like composed of lots of islands, right? Decentralized.
Approximately, I believe it's near 2,000 islands.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Any questions for Jonathan? Can anybody hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you, Will.
Okay, okay. Any other questions for Jonathan?
Oh, very quickly, I just want to say that I found the URL for HARA. I think this is an extraordinary project that RChain absolutely needs to get involved with. Please look in the chat window and investigate and get back to me about your thinking. I think this is something that RChain is uniquely well situated to contribute to the world.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Okay, let's jump to the next one. Some China update. I'm going to talk about this. I have sent several emails to the new Co-op website team, but no response from them. And I have confirmed that the translators employed by the Perfect only translate the content related to the rock to ref swap for the developer website. And so the new Co-op website still needs the help from the community. And yeah, I have already set up a group for that, but it seems that the new Co-op website is still under construction. So it's still we still need we need time to do that. So I think that's all.
Will, Kit Blake might have some information about the construction going on. Kit?
Yeah, well, the information is it's in progress, but it's a lot of work, and I don't think we're going to see too much before RCon. That's the goal, to have it launched and in the air by RCon 3, but I don't think that we're going to get anything sooner than that, so don't count on it.
Okay, thank you. I got it. And any other update from China? Enzo?
Yes.
Do you have any?
I just proposed a poll about what is the benefit of becoming a co-op member in the QQ group, which has like 1,900 people, but only like 50 people voted, and half of them votes the option I don't know, and half of them voted for the option being co-op member can get can participate in the RChain governance conference. So it's like I know the only 50 people vote, so that may not indicate that half of Chinese community members don't know what's the benefit of being co-op member, but it at least tells we need to promote this more.
I would like to ask Ian Bloom to chime in here about the benefits of RChain cooperative membership.
Hello. So the main benefit of RChain membership is that members who have registered, paid their $20, done their KYC, the verification, are eligible to use the platform at significantly reduced fees, because members at the end of the year receive a rebate. So this rebate is based on how much you use the platform. So if you were to expend, say, $10,000 worth of gas, or on RChain we call that phlogiston or flow, then at the end of the year, you would receive a rebate. All of the members receive a rebate that's proportional to the amount of expenditure that they've made in fees.
Is the percentage of the rebate defined currently?
No, it's not.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the reasons I started the poll, because I only came to know the rebate thing like a week ago. So and I do some search, but I think the rate, the proportion, the percentage is not finalized, and even in the English community, I believe a lot of people have no idea about this, right?
Another benefit of being a RChain member, and this is $20 a year we're talking about, not $20 a month. I've seen people wondering if it's a monthly fee. No, it's 1 year. Another huge benefit is that you get to participate in the RChain Discord channels, where you really can get involved with and participate in day-to-day activities that are happening within the RChain community. I really cannot overemphasize how valuable that is if you're interested in RChain.
Hey, Jonathan, if I can make a small correction. Actually, the $20 membership, it's not yearly. Right now, it's just one time. And as long as a member uses more than $10 worth of fees in a year, then their membership remains active. Also, members are eligible for special offers of our partners. So if one of our partners was to have a token sale, then our members would likely get early access to that sale.
Great point. Great point. So Enzo, to answer your question from a week ago that I did not answer, there are many benefits that should be articulated to the Chinese community and better articulated even in the North American and European communities. And Ian, I would like to step aside in the next 48 hours and make a value proposition that we could start sharing. Because I don't think this is well known at all.
Great. I think it would be very, very great. And I'm going to translate that document into Chinese.
Excellent. Thank you. And so.
And so let me add that if people want to make contributions to RChain for which they may be rewarded, you must be a member in order to make a rewardable contribution.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. This is not so relevant to the China update, but it's somehow relevant because I just started to use the bounty system like a month ago, and I found it a little bit complicated, at least for first timer. It's really you know, I have been surfing in the GitHub pages, and after like 3 weeks, I just learned that there is a RChain.co-op. So yeah, because I was wondering how did you vote for an issue? So I think the guide, there is a guide there's a guide already, but I don't know. Do we need to make it more, how to say, easier, more straightforward, or like step by step thing? Because for new participant, it's really you cannot really grasp how this process works in like maybe a few days.
So Enzo, if I may, before anybody else jumps in, I am actually looking forward to RChain Asia being a party that contributes to re-evaluating and reconstructing how our bounty system works. And Alan, I know you're going to possibly not liking what I'm going to say, but I really think that our bounty system is not healthy currently, and that we really need to look at other bounty systems and other contributory platforms that have worked well historically. And this is a high priority for me, and I would like to instantiate a better bounty program through RChain Asia than we currently have. So Alan, go ahead. You can argue with me if you want.
I am very eager to hear improvements of where we'd like to improve. Enzo talked about it being complicated to get started. I'm guessing that you have different ideas.
No, I think it's very difficult to get started. I think getting on board in RChain is unnecessarily complicated, and that's something I want to address.
Yeah, Jonathan, what do you mean by not so healthy? Because that could mean a lot of things.
Hi, was that Xiao Zhang?
No, that was Enzo. It's me.
Oh, there's Enzo. What I mean is that there are not clear roadmaps to onboarding. There is no welcome package. When somebody joins the RChain Cooperative, first of all, joining the RChain Cooperative is complicated itself. The onboarding process is confusing. Then once you get onboarded, it's what do I do? Who do I talk to? who are my possible leads and guides? We need documentation and help guides. When I joined, I'm going to be very, very personal here. When I first was onboarded to RChain November 28th last year, it took me about a month and a half of struggling to try to understand what the heck I was doing, who the heck I could talk to, where the resources were. There is no clear roadmap for onboarding. I'm going to make certain that as I develop RChain Asia, we're going to create a culture of clear onboarding and clear processes. So that's what I mean.
Okay. But what you talk about is beyond the bounty system, I believe.
Yes, it is beyond the bounty system, but the bounty system would be part of it, of course.
Okay, understood.
Okay, Jonathan, these proposals that you're working on, are you going to work on them as open documents so we can see where you're going and what we can take incorporate into what we have so far?
Yes, I'm currently working with Drawer, who I think is on the call, and I've shared this document with Ian, and I will be making it increasingly open as I work on it. Oh, also Jocelyn has seen this. And hello, Jocelyn, you're online here?
She can't talk, she said.
Oh, okay. So Jocelyn is, we're just about finalized in getting Jocelyn Lee on board as the Director of Business Development for RChain Asia. She is fluent in English, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, and she will be helping us out as a group here. So welcome, Jocelyn.
Welcome, Jocelyn.
Welcome. That's big, the multilingual.
Okay, and any other question on the subject about the bounty program? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's not about the bounty program, but it's about China at least. I was thinking, yeah, this is not official, but I just shift my focus because maybe you know I was investor and work as advisor of VC blockchain capital, but I just shifted to focus most, like maybe all of my energy into RChain, maybe building the community and learning Roland, maybe someday develop my own D app. But lately I was thinking starting building a website. It's like the RChain 101 or RChain, how to say, start guide. Yeah, we already have an RChain site in China. It's in Chinese, but to be honest, yeah, it's a great place. It was a great website, but to be honest, it was a little bit disorganized. So I want to make something simple. Just it's targeted to the people who are new to RChain and want to learn some basic facts or get some guide about RChain. How can I join the co-op? How can I get involved? How can I use the bounty system or participate in the weekly community test? Yeah, this is what I am thinking about. Actually, I have started. I just set up a WordPress site, and for now it looks good. Do you have any suggestions or comments on that? Because I have not really decided what should I prioritize on, especially because I see some Chinese participating today in this conference. So anything you wanna comment for now?
So Enzo, are you asking for more technical?
No, not really technical. it's more for it's more a guide. It's more how do you say, something like Yahoo, yeah, Yahoo of RChain. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to form a subcommittee for that. Peter, would you be willing to help with that?
I think it would maybe be more suitable for Kit, for instance, to be involved with that, because Kit has been involved in the member website work also, and it sounds like it would be a lot like that.
So Kit, are you willing to be volunteered to help RChain Asia get integrated more quickly to RChain than we've had historically with RChain US and Europe?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you, and yeah, thank everybody for your kindness and generosity. But if someone in the, I mean the co-op, not in the co-op, I mean in the core member of RChain, get involved, this will look like it's somehow
Official.
endorsement. Yeah, official. And that's not really something that I want to become for now, because I like how to say, independence, and yeah, and this is actually this is the first time for me to really building a website publicly. So I don't want the, I just want to start little by little, and for now I want to make it very simple and small. Not so I think a WordPress site is something, it's technically sufficient for me now. The focus, I mean the focus, the thing is about the content. So the technical,
Yes.
the technology is really easy for now. And since this site is for at least presently most for Chinese people, Chinese speaking people, so there will be a lot of translations, organization, editing, and maybe some outsourcing.
Okay, Enzo, could you help us by telling us specifically what support you need?
Sorry, I didn't hear the word you, the keyword you said.
Oh, tell us very specifically what support you need so we can see.
From the co-op, not really for now. I mean, I just want to share this information that I'm gonna start doing this. But if anyone has some suggestions on this, like what should I focus on, or anything I should be very careful with, like the obligation things we mentioned about the blog. So for now, I think I just need to get my head down on this, and if I need any assistance or help, I'm definitely gonna ask. I wouldn't have
So,
it.
Enzo, I had one suggestion, and
Yeah.
I think Ian is still on the call, but I know Ian Quinn works intimately with the marketing org. Just as long as you guys like maybe coordinate now and then, just to make sure that the messaging is consistent and what we're saying to the external markets is a consistent message, that I think would be very, very helpful. And other than that, it's just the basic stuff about not violating securities laws that we already talked about. But other than that, I don't see that much that would be a problem. But I'll stop there. Ian, thoughts?
I mean, from what you're saying, I can definitely just help in terms of just like making sure that the language is okay. I'm not too much sure whether he wants more just like official outreach from people that are going to be speaking from a stronger position on like the row lang and row calculus and stuff like that. But anything that has to do with English and Chinese is I can help with.
Yeah, I guess. Look, my only point is that I think messaging should just be consistent. I care less about the flair around it and how people engage with it on a more emotional or temporal level. But it's just as long as it's consistent in terms of what we're communicating about the underlying technology and how it's accessed, I think we should be okay. Does that make sense, Enzo?
No,
or
100%.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, and I will be careful about that. And yeah, I think most of my contents will be translated from like some original documents or websites, and yeah, there will be maybe some input of my understanding or some other Chinese community members, but we will be cautious, and I will emphasize that explicitly on the website that this website is not endorsed or sanctioned by the RChain Co-op. It's just a fan site. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Just to speak to that directly, really quick, for the sake of that, is that last week Will gave me some sort of pieces of that, and I did a Google Translate on it, and I was very impressed by how the work that I've been doing thus far with RChain, and then I took the Chinese website and I translated it into English, and I was like, wow, this is very important, and I know that you guys really need to do a lot of evangelical work to get to the Chinese community, and I can see where you're coming from with that. And I'll come.
No, I'm sure. Look, again, I'm sure it's great. That's not my worry at all. I'm sure it's great, and the content's very good. It's my only concern, and I'm sure it's not happened yet, is just as we go forward, the amount of content that's going to come out is going to be much higher in quantity and import, and it's just important that we're synced and consistent. That's all.
Guys, whether or not we're synced, I think that Ian said that the content was different, that people have different points of view, and I would like to get that content crossed over between all of our different communities.
Yeah, I'm here for the first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm here for the. I'm excited about being here for the first time, crossing over those language barriers. That's. Well, yeah.
I mean, in some sense, that's the possibility of RChain.
Yeah, 100% in my perspective.
Yeah, no argument there. If it's not broken,
yeah, and I think a lot of the stuff thus far that I've seen is a lot more technical and computer programming based. So I think that just my from what I've seen thus far is a lot of developer stuff. I think there's a lot of Chinese developers that are going to be getting into row lang and row calculus and stuff like that, from what I've seen thus far. And Casper and things like that from the content that I've seen.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Oh, okay, let's jump to the next one.
I think this is a natural transition to a discussion about marketing from the marketing team that is kind of an independent. So I want to give some background that there is a marketing team for RChain. It is a semi-autonomous organization of RChain Co-op that works with RChain Co-op, Reflective, Pyrofex, and Pythia. And they have not really been thinking before my coming to Southeast Asia about how we need to work with the Asian community. So I would like to really start thinking about how our team here in this call and all the people that this call reaches out to, about how to start using the assets that the marketing team is developing. For example, I've already gotten information about how we can start doing subtitling and voiceovers for RChain videos that are being developed. And I would like to start forming a subcommittee for RChain Asia marketing.
Jonathan, I think that these ideas are wonderful. I have a question. We were talking about RChain Asia and RChain US. Are these really distinct?
They're not organizationally distinct, but they are clearly distinct in the fact that because of the time zone differences, RChain Asia has been happening pretty much without much engagement from RChain US or RChain Europe. RChain China has become a monster in terms of number of people that are interested in this project, but there's been very little communication between RChain Asia
I see.
and RChain Europe.
How can we improve that? I mean, there's nothing we can do about time zones, but what can we?
Right now by having this meeting.
I stayed up.
It's an awesome meeting. Thanks, Will, and thanks, Jonathan, for creating it.
Yes. So the time zone difference is a real thing. I have to admit that when I was in RChain US and living in Seattle, I knew that stuff was happening in RChain China and RChain Asia, but it was like something I didn't really think about. Now that I'm in this time zone, and now that I'm interacting with Will and Mervyn and Enzo on a day-to-day basis, I'm realizing what a tremendous set of talents that we have here. And this is what I really am trying to foster and develop. And now that we have Jocelyn helping out as well, we really have an opportunity to really leverage this tremendous set of talent that we have out here. And it is also worth noting that a lot of the initial funding for RChain that happened with the private sale back in October through December was actually Chinese investors. And we need to continue to work very actively with people that are passionate about the RChain project and not just have them be, oh, they're hard to get a hold of. It's a different time zone. No.
So, Jonathan, your idea is that the Asian community should be stronger and more integrated into RChain, into the cooperative, and so on. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly. I mean, if you think about mining power and a lot of interest we're getting, especially in the validator sale, a lot of it comes from Asia. You think about Bitcoin and Ethereum networks. They're, the two largest ones. EOS, too, probably the closest competitor, are mostly secured in Asia. So, it's probably been a blind spot for us and something we should be taking extremely seriously. I agree with that sentiment.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
yes.
So I want to close with the point that anybody that wants to help RChain Asia needs to start interacting with the marketing group. That again, as I said, is kind of a semi-autonomous organization in the RChain family. So I encourage you to start communicating with Patrick and Encore and through me and others to start making sure that anything that they're doing is also being properly communicated to the RChain Asia community. And I will shut up for a while.
Hi, can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Sorry for our late introduction. I come from Thomas Capital. Thomas Capital is willing to provide the following spots for RChain. First of all, we could connect with some terms from existing blockchain projects or products based in ETH network to ask if they could like to build their projects or products on RChain. And the second one, moreover, Thomas Capital is teaming up with some traditional entrepreneurs. which could be RChain potential customers to build their private chain in RChain. Third of all, apart from existing projects and traditional entrepreneurs, Thomas Capital will keep looking for future products which can use RChain main network to build RChain private chain. Overall, building a complete RChain ecosystem is what Thomas Capital is going to assist with RChain. And I already sent our official website on our chat history. So, and Thomas Capital was founded in early 2018 with the mission of helping entrepreneurs to build their innovative projects based on blockchain technology. Our passion is providing founders with the tools they need to succeed: medium, community, meetup, capital, partnership, and a necessary strategy.
Chenyan?
Hi.
Hi. Could you share your email address in the chat window so that Mrinal and I could get in touch with you?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chenya. Any questions for Chenya? Okay, let's jump to the next one. The time is ticking. And Kit is going to make an update of Japan. Kit, are you there?
Yeah, hang on. I just had to unmute. I went to some meetups during my time in Tokyo and got to know people, and I found that a lot of the meetups are sponsored, and if RChain wanted to sponsor a meetup, then this is one of the groups that handles those meetups. So I talked to them specifically about doing an RChain meetup at some point in the future, and they would be interested to organize it. It would be for a fee, of course, but these guys are totally in the center of the Tokyo scene, and they know the venues and the places and the people. So this would be an option. And I also met another guy who is involved deeply in the Tokyo fintech scene named Maurizio Raffone, and if we were interested, he would be happy to advise RChain in terms of a push into the Tokyo market. So I'll share this information with Jonathan so that you have the info. And I would prefer to have real RChain fans on the ground who are passionate about RChain to help us with this. But so far, besides Kent, there haven't been a lot of Japanese-based fans developing. So this is what I have for the moment. That's my report.
That's awesome.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
That's it. Okay. And the upcoming Asian conference, Mervyn has set up a meetup in Singapore on August 15th. Anyone who is interested can register or send a DM to Mervyn in Discord. Any other upcoming conference or meetings? Guys? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Any other? I think that's it for this week debrief. Any other updates? Going once? Going twice? Okay, thanks everybody.
I would like to say that I want everybody that is in these calls and all of your contacts to find out if we could get more interaction from Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Vietnam. Currently, RChain Asia is primarily China and then a little bit of activity in Singapore. We really need to start breaking into these other communities. And I know that Jocelyn is going to be a huge help, but in the meantime, any of you that know anybody that is involved in blockchain, that might be interested in RChain, in other communities besides China, please start reaching out to them, get them engaged, maybe get them actually to become RChain members. But we have to do that. That is so important.
You know, Jonathan, I would like to know what that process would look like, because all those territories that you just mentioned, there's no exchanges where you can trade back into those local currencies, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a Chinese exchange, so the Vietnamese can't get on that Chinese exchange. They can get bounties all day long, but I don't know where they're going to trade their token, right? Like, the token has no value.
Christian, you're assuming that people's interests are solely economically driven, that they're solely driven by investment possibilities.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't say that at all. I'm just making it very clear that the reason why you have a large Chinese interest is because liquidity, the token, is primarily driven China right now. That's all I said.
What I'm saying is that I think that RChain is not about currently the tokenomics or our coin. I think that RChain is fundamentally a really profound technological innovation that people, any jurisdiction, should be interested in.
Hey, can you speak closer to the mic? Last like 3 sentences, we couldn't hear you.
I think that people that are interested in the future of computation should be interested in RChain. I don't think it's solely about the tokenomics. And furthermore, we're about to be listed on all the major exchanges very soon. So I don't buy the, oh, there's not an exchange in Okinawa, so the people from Okinawa are not going to be interested. No.
All right. Well, I'd like to see when the explosion point of that interest will be, either before or after the exchange. If you want to run up and onboard as many people that from all these different countries, that's fine, right? Like, I'm not involved with business development in Asia. I'm just saying, don't beat yourself to death when, like, the huge economic activity that's going to come from engagement will be driven from the ability to get the token into exchange and out of the exchange, right? Like, this is financial technology at the end of the day. There's a computational genius.
Actually, no.
Okay, I'm done. Like, you're just gonna say no. Like, you're not gonna let me talk, so that's fine.
No, this is not financial technology. RChain, the point of RChain is that we're going beyond Bitcoin and beyond Ethereum. This is not simply about financial exchange. RChain is fundamentally a new internet 3.0 platform. And that's where we need to start thinking about, I think.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Any other questions? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Jonathan. And thanks everybody. That's it for this week. See you next week.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.